Okay, so I'm going to show how to disassemble a Lenovo IdeaPad 320-15 IKB. So first what you want to do is remove all the screws from the bottom. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So remove all those screws, keep them in order. Once you do that, you can pull the CD drive out. So just pull it like that. After you do that, you'll want to remove the CD drive part first because it's difficult to grab anywhere else. So what you want to do is you can get your fingernail between the dark gray plastic and the silver part, and then just pull on it. You'll feel the clips come out. Once you do that, just go around, use your fingernails and pry it. You can also use a pry tool between the two layers. What you want to do is you just pull the gray part out like that and just go all the way around. Just do that all the way around. Okay. Just like that. Go all the way around. The back pieces, you can't pry it, but once you get all the way around, then you can lift this up just like that, and you can remove this. Just set that aside. Then you can see you got the battery here. You always want to remove the battery first before working on any other electronic components, just to be safe. So take the screws out. There's one in this corner. Okay. My electric screwdriver's having issues, so I have to use it manually. One in this corner. And there's one slightly in the middle top here. Then you got one slightly in the middle of the battery on the side. Alright. Once you got that, lift that up. The battery connector is a little tricky to remove. What I like to do, let's see if I can get a good view. But what I like to do is kind of just pull the cable and then wiggle it a little bit. Just like that. From side to side, and you'll get the battery out. Okay. Set that aside. After you remove the battery, I always like to open it and hold the power button just to make sure there's no power going through. So just do that. Hold the power button for a few seconds. Okay, so this one has a broken screen, so I'm going to show how to remove that. I already took part of it up, but you actually have to take the whole screen out of the body to completely remove it. So as you can see here, there's the SSD, or there might be a hard drive here, but you can easily remove this. If you've seen my other videos, to remove these, you flip up this little plastic bit here, and then you can easily take these cables out. I don't need to take any of these out, so I'm going to leave it. Same thing goes with this trackpad cable. And then you got a speaker here that you can like grab out with your nails or a little plastic tool, and you just wiggle it to the side to pull it out. Then you got the BIOS CMOS battery here. Got the CD drive connector. Wireless card. Again, on my other videos, you just lift up from the back and it'll pop out. Don't try and pull it from the top or the sides, or you'll possibly break the thing. Then you got the keyboard connector here. You got the fan held in place with a couple screws. Actually, I think only one screw is left holding it. Yep. And then the connector. Then, of course, the processor's soldered in place just like all the other new laptops. Then you got one stick of RAM here. Just push these to the side, it pops up. Same thing like everything else. Pull it out like that. Put it back in at an angle. Push it back down. If you want, you can upgrade the RAM. Then you got the LCD connector here, which is one of these flip connectors. I'm going to have to replace this, so I'm going to take that out. And then once you get that, just grab that. There you go. It's easier with two hands. Let me put it down. Okay, So you got that. Then you just grab it and wiggle it out. Sorry for the bad camera angles, but yeah. So we just pull it out like that. Let me take a look off camera. Yeah, so it's actually caught under this piece, so you're probably gonna have to take the hinges out first. So usually for these, to get the hinges out, I'm actually gonna have to take the wireless out as well. So we'll lift this up from the back, just lift it up like that. Same with the other one, lift it up. Then get it out from underneath all this stuff. So the fan connector, it's holding it in place. So you actually have to put it down from the front and then underneath. So same thing with the black one, down from the front. There's a little thing holding it, and then underneath it. There we go. Let's see if I can get a better view. Okay, then you just lift this up, go around, lift that up. And then you can pretty much see where the cables are all going, so just unwind it all. There you go. Get that all unwound. Okay, and then usually when you remove the screen hinges, you have to like open the screen about 90 degrees. So open it like that, about 90 degrees. And usually what I like to do is just loosen this a little bit. Then what you can do, so you don't drop it on the ground or something, just turn it on its side like that, and then just completely remove the screws. Okay, so let's see if I can show this, sorry. So once you got that, now this is loose, so you can untuck the cable. It's hard to get a good camera angle of this, but pretty much once you got that loose, let's see, you can untuck this and then you can remove this. So I'm gonna have to try and do this off camera because it's tough to do it with this angle. So what I had to do was, this cable is somewhat flat, so you actually like twist it over so it goes that way and it can come out of that slot. So once you got that, you should be able to remove this no problem. Let's see, unless they put some adhesive, which it feels like they might have. Yep. Okay, so they put a little adhesive underneath, so it's a little tricky to get out, but once you get that out, it just comes off. And just remove the other screw from the other side. There are 2 screws. Be careful not to drop the screen on the floor. While you're removing the other half, just make sure that you're holding it. Okay, there you go. So now that you got both hinges out, you can remove the screen. And you can set this aside. Alright, so the frame, you pretty much just go around with your nails or a pry tool and just pull it out. Sometimes if it's stubborn, I like to use another nail on this side, and then you can just pull it up like this. And just go all the way around. Just like that. Just go all the way around. Okay, just like that. Go around to the other side. Okay. The bottom half will be a little stubborn. I tried taking it out earlier and it was having some trouble. So it looks like we have to actually remove this first. So what you do is, now that this is out, you can actually slide it over, and then this comes up like that. So to put it back, make sure it goes to the right hand side, and then you put it back on and you slide it back over. So let me remove this first and then place the screen. Right, so the frame just comes out like that. Set that aside. Here. Get the replacement screen. So it looks glossy, but it just has a little film on it. So the screen for this model is actually a matte finish. So there's 4 screws holding the screen in place. Just remove those. Okay. Just remove those. Right.
What are you shielding, man? Shield when someone's getting charged, or when they're in the middle of damage, not just out of damage.
Okay. So once you got those 4 screws out, the screen can actually lift up. Just grab one of the corners. Let's see here. There you go. And the screen will just lift up like this. So be careful with it, because there's the connector there. So you can lift it up. Usually there's some tape, but this model, it just has a little latch on it. So yeah, so there's a latch on it. So what you do is you just use your fingernail or a little pry tool and just lift up on that like that. Once you got that up, then you can pull on this like that and remove it. Set that screen aside. Grab the replacement screen. Put that back. And then just do the opposite. So put the connector. Let's see if I can do this while on camera. It's tough to do this at this weird angle. Okay. So do it like that. Yeah, I might have to do it off camera, or at a weird. I'll just be in the way. Oh, I'm gonna have to do it off camera. All right, let me do that real quick.
I know. That's the one reason why I put this here. Like, honestly.
All right. So once you got that in place, you just put this latch back down. It should stay in place on its own. All right. That back over. All right, then just flip the screen back on top. Just like that.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, your shields are pretty bad.
Screen back in place. Put it back. Make sure the 4 corners line up. All right. It has the little parts that stick out just to hold it in place. So you can't really put it in the wrong way. And just put the screws back.
I shipped it. Did you pull that out? Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
All right. Just put all 4 screws. There we go. After you do that, make sure to peel off the protective film, because once you put the frame on, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So peel off the protective film. Just like that. Okay, grab the frame, put the frame back in place. Make sure the cables and everything are still in their original spots. And then just snap it all back in place. Usually I like to start with the top corners because it's easier to line up. Just go all the way across. Okay. And just go along the sides. Alright. Other side. Hinges look a little dusty, so usually what I just use a little toothbrush, brush it off. Usually do this outside so that the dust doesn't all end up in your house. Okay. And you can snap in the bottom pieces, just like that. Okay, just make sure it's all snapped in place. Make sure the cables aren't caught underneath like this. Okay, there you go. Now again, you grab this. Let's see, so there's two different sides. Looking at it, so the shorter side looks like it would go face down. Let me make sure. Is it the right way, or does it go the other way? Actually, the shorter side seems like it goes on top. Is that right or no? No, the shorter side definitely goes down. Okay. Doing this right. Okay. Notches. Okay. Yeah, looks like it has to go this way. Okay, so the shorter side does go towards the bottom of the screen. So slide it over. Line it up. This is the trickiest part of it, actually. Okay, so just line it all up, just like that. Once you got it all lined up, then slide it over. There you go, and now it's holding in place. So yeah, again, the shorter side is at the bottom. You can tell also it has this like angle to it. The top is just smooth like this. So once you got that, then you just put it all back. Take this, clean out the fan if you want. Same thing, use a toothbrush. Just brush it. Usually I like to hold the fan a little bit so it keeps it from moving too much, but at the same time allowing it to spin. Go the other way too. Once you do that, just blow the dust out. You can use one of those little air cans or a vacuum. You can use a vacuum through the top. Okay, so I'll just remove all the dust. Okay, and then get the screen, put it back in. It's going to be a little tough, so usually what I like to do is I'll have it either on my knee or hanging off a table, so that way you can have the screen hanging down while you're also holding it. And then you can grab one screw first. Let's see here if I can do this. Okay. Grab one screw first, and then just tighten it in place. Alright, do the other side. Let's see, this is tough to do while on camera. Okay. Do that. There we go. Make sure it's these two corner screws, same as the other one. The one in the towards the center, closer to these, don't have screws. The screws for the cover will actually go into those holes, so just make sure you put the right ones. Alright. Actually, where did I grab this one from? Am I getting the right screws?
I still need to put in my new SSD that I got. I still haven't put it in because I think I don't have the right wire for it.
Oh. Okay.
Who is that? Who is it?
Make sure you get all those screws in. Just like that. Okay. All four corners. Once you got that, this cable should be easy to put in. So just like that, same as like before, you twist it at like this angle like that, so it can go in there. And just like that, make sure this latch is up, and then you just tuck it in there. Okay. There you go. Then latch it down. Make sure it's in well.
Oh, good luck.
Okay. Then the wireless connectors. Just thread it through the same way. Under this one. Going around. Just like that. Threading it around.
I don't know. So many things going on.
Okay. Just like that. Thread it back in here. Okay, put it back the same way you got it.
Let's go, low.
Just like that. Okay, then clip these back in.
Yeah, guys.
It's gonna be tough to do on the camera in my way, but let's see. Okay.
My hands
Here.
freezing, dude. Go. Go.
Just like that. Line it up. Press it down.
Let's go then.
Line it up and Press it down.
Nice done, dude. Nice ult, bro. I'm healing you, dude.
Be a little tricky. Make sure you get it in the right way. Don't put too much force if it's not going in, or you might break those connectors. Okay. So there we go. Now we got that. Now we want to put the battery back in. So the battery again, put like that. Make sure this one has like this white dot. If some people replace the battery, they'll end up putting it the wrong way. So make sure, let's see, why is it not focusing? Yeah, make sure you put it the right way. So if you can see like these gold connectors here, come on, there we go. So if you can see the connectors on this side, then it's upside down. So make sure it's with this side up. Okay. Yep. So put that connector in. Drop the battery in place, just like that. And get the battery screws. Put them back in. Again, the corners, the top and bottom left corners. All right. Go. Okay. And you got the middle top of the battery. And you got the right hand side of the battery. Alright. Get the back cover again. Put the back, oops. Put the back side back in first. Just like that. Then press down. The CD drive, you can press these in first. And then just go around. Usually with the screen open, so you can press against both pieces and just snap it all in place. Just like that. Okay. Once you got that, once you got everything snapped in place, just like that. Okay. And put the CD drive back in. Then we open it up and test and make sure it works. Alright, there you can see it's powering up. New screen, looks like it's working good. And there we go. Alright, got the screen working and everything. Then you just shut it back down. Now that you know everything's good, usually when you shut it down, if you don't have an SSD for a hard drive, this one has an SSD, so it doesn't matter. But if you don't have an SSD, make sure it turns off before you like close it and shake it around like this. And then after that, just put all the rest of the screws back in, and we're done. So that's it. Alright, hope that helped. If anything, if you have any questions, just write a comment, and I'll get back to you. Alright, thanks. Bye.